an emerging opportunity. And that was the establishment of data centers and battery storage facilities in the province of New Brunswick.
So just for the public out there, just so that we're very clear, this is just the very beginning stages. No decisions have been made. We are opening the door to have the conversations, to get the feedback, and to learn.
The proposed data center zoning changes has been Miramichi's hottest topic, debated issues in the Miramichi area right now. But before we carry on with this hot topic, I'd like to thank everybody for coming in here with Excursions with Pat. Greatly appreciate. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I would love if you guys would hit that like below. If you like to watch more of this content, hit that subscribe. And if you like to share my content, that's greatly appreciated. So let's get down to our next story. So what I've discussed in my last video as data center in Miramichi, it was a very hot topic, and what started it all was the City of Miramichi City Hall, where Jeff McIntosh came to City Council and talked to all the city councilors to amend to perhaps change the zoning area to the HI area at the old UPM work sites. So the City of Miramichi intends to consider amendments to its zoning bylaw, being Bylaw 110 entitled City of Miramichi Zoning Bylaw. But before we go any further, there was a video on June 9th where Jeff McIntosh came to City Council and expressed his thoughts on rezoning the area so they can get potential battery storage facility in a database here in the Miramichi area. I'm going to play the video. We can discuss it and we go from there. But before we even watch the video, over the past several days, residents had hit the social media and they showed a lot of frustrations towards this database possibly coming to Miramichi. And with that being said, there's been a lot of hateful comments and calls into the mayor and a few other city clerks and whoever else. So there has been a few Miramichiers that has showed some frustrations towards the city workers, to the councilors and the mayor. So here's a mayor of the City of Miramichi, Arsenal. She writes, passionate advocacy. Over the past couple of days, I've answered a lot of questions about the upcoming public hearing on adding data centers and battery storage to the heavy industry category. I've heard a wide range of views, and I've been in as many conversations of all types of views as I can be part of, because that's how good decision gets made. Here's what I won't accept. Threatening behavior towards staff at the GMSC, the City of Miramichi, or member of the councils. Disagreement is welcome. Debate is welcome. Passionate advocacy is welcome as well. Threats are not, and they won't change the outcome of this process. They must make it harder for the people doing their work. If you have questions about the hearing of the proposal, ask them. I'll keep answering, and there is no decision being made on the evening of August 4th, 2026. So I agree with the mayor. If you have an issue, if you have a problem, contact them at a level. Just be fair. Just don't freak out. I know you're frustrated about it, but don't get frustrated. Talk to them. If you have an issue, bring it up. Gather more people. Get a petition out. Whatever, show up at the meeting, ask questions. This is not written in stone right now. They're just thinking of bringing it here. I don't want it here either, but we got to talk about it and debate it. You know, the pros and the cons, you know. But anyway, with no further ado, I'm going to show the video of June 9th. You can listen to exactly what was said at that meeting, and we'll have a little discussion from there.
2026-17, zoning bylaw 110, additions of data centers and battery storage to heavy industrial zoning permitted uses. Director McTavish, back to you.
Thank you, Your Worship. Again, in conversations with CEO Sargent, he wanted me to bring this back to council because there will be something coming from staff on the rezoning. in the very near future for your consideration. So just to give you a little bit of background, a couple months ago in February, the past council, we had a discussion in committee of the whole about an emerging opportunity. And that was the establishment of data centers and battery storage facilities in the province of New Brunswick. They're ONB, which is Opportunities New Brunswick, which is the provincial economic development agency. We're fielding many inquiries because of our proximity to, I guess, Europe, and Moncton has some very key infrastructure in place. There's a very, at the speed of light, it really probably doesn't make too much difference, but there's a very direct line between North America, specifically Moncton, and Europe, which would be Ireland, that is the fastest that data can be transferred back and forth. Now, within New Brunswick, there are certain limitations for the amount of electricity that buildings or companies can draw down from. But because of our history as a heavy industrial community where we had...
So before we carry on with the video, this guy's name is Jeff McIntosh from Miramichi. He's the Director of Economic Development and Tourism. He oversees economic development initiatives, tourism, promotions, business attraction and retention, and special community development projects. So just a little bit of information on who this guy is. So he's the main guy that brings things into the Miramichi, different types of businesses. So Jeff McTavish, he is the Director of the Economic Development and Tourism for the Miramichi area.
Paper mills and pulp mills. There's still some excess capacity within our grid that can be utilized for these types of industries, which creates an opportunity for the City of Miramichi. And a lot of our heavy industrial sites are currently vacant. They've been sitting idle since the closures of the mills. We've had many different types of industries that have come in. We've had, UMO Solar back in 2008, 9, that were looking at developing solar panels. We've had pellet plants. We've had recycling plants that wanted to basically break down our garbage and create energy out of it. But this one is, I think, one of the most real ones that I've seen in my 20 years here because of the consumer demand for data. And so what we're asking council is to consider, through the public process that will take place, the addition of these two types of industries to our current permitted uses in the heavy industrial zone. So there are many things that are already allowed within the heavy industrial zone. So if somebody come in here today and wanted to build another pulp mill, that couldn't be done because it's still listed under the heavy industrial, their zoning, but these two particular ones are not, and they are emerging industries. So even though that it's a permitted use, does not mean that it will be a definite use, because it still has to go through a very rigorous environmental impact assessment process that is controlled by the province of New Brunswick with input from other. But what this will allow me and my staff to do with council's blessing is work with Opportunities New Brunswick and continue to try to attract the attention of other investors that may be interested in putting this. And as you could probably see in my email that was exchanged between myself and the Planning Commission when the PRAC initially approved this, is that there are many potential benefits for the City of Miramichi. There's full-time employment, there's indirect employment, there's increases in tax bases, there will be the sale of water, and all the environmental things that...
So yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. The old REPAP, UPM job site, obviously it's been shut down for a long time. So the grid that's there now can handle a lot of electricity. So, but things like a database or battery storage facility to come in here, they would definitely have to change the zoning. If there's another mill or plywood mill or pellet mill, they definitely can start right away. But it's a good proposal for sure. I mean, pros and cons. I don't like the fact that they're going to use uses a lot of water and electricity, but I do understand he's trying to bring business into the community. I have no problem with that at all.
Our concerns are addressed through the EIA process. So if there's something that cannot be done because of proximity to the river or the concerns in the technology that's being proposed, it is flushed out in that system. So this is kind of a heads up to council that this is coming forward. There will be I guess, a public process. But maybe I'll pass over to Greg, because there was some confusion as to the way that it was presented to the original council and then sent to the PRAC, and the reason why we're bringing it back in this manner.
Through the chair, thanks, Director McTavish. I think the reason I wanted to bring it back is just in the spirit of being a new council and this being an unfamiliar file. So before starting the process or initiating any rezoning, certainly wanted folks to have an opportunity to ask questions and ultimately become familiar before we initiated that process. Just recognizing that, and there have been some excellent questions that have come out of this. We know that we're all astute and pay attention to what's going on around us in the world, and we know there's been concerns with data centers in other parts of the world, so certainly wanted us to go in with a very well-rounded, eyes wide open view to this, and understanding that ultimately what's being proposed here does not commit us to anything. It really just allows us to explore it as a potential opportunity.
I'll open the floor for questions for either our CAO or Director McTavish. Councillor Whalen.
Your Worship, is there specific areas in the city that they're focusing on? Would it be like former UPM site or other sites that are kind of areas that we're looking at? Maybe those things going?
Through the chair to Councillor Whalen. So what's being proposed here is to add data centers and battery storage facilities as a permitted use into areas that are already zoned heavy industrial. So we could get sort of a complete picture of what that looks like, but and Director McTavish can probably speak to this where they are better than I can right off the top of my head. But yes, it is sort of the old UPM site, the old Nelson Mill, Anderson Mill.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Councillor Harris.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to clarify what you just said, Nelson and Anderson. I just want to clarify where exactly we're talking about with this particular one.
Through the chair to Councillor Harris. So as CAO Sergeant said, this permitted use will apply to all heavy industrial zones.
Oh, okay.
So only properties that are zoned heavy industrial. But again, there are restrictions, not only environmental, but limitations on access to electricity. So there, like the former UPM property where the paper mill was, has great access to electricity. There's the capacity is there to draw down. But there's a little piece of property in the former town of Chatham that's beside the port that was it was a water treatment plant. It is zoned heavy industrial. There would not be any chance that a data center could establish there, not only because of its proximity to the river, but its proximity to the power source that it needs.
Yeah, so, okay, so that's good. Thank you for the clarification. I just wanted to make sure on that. So, you know, these things are happening in the world and we know that, but I just want to make sure that as we go forward, that we use extreme caution, and I know we will do that, because we need to make sure that it's what's best. And I understand that doing business can be scary sometimes, and there's a lot that we read, a lot that we see, but I know that the staff here will ensure that we're making the best choices, you know, for our business reasons, but also for our future generations. And these are the big deals that we run to make the decisions on. And I feel that this is one that we need to get right, and that we need to make sure that we're loaded up with every bit of education that we can possibly get as we make decisions around this. And I know how preliminary this is, I get that, but I just wanted to make sure to state my opinion on that, because it's very important.
Councillor Doyle.
Through your worship to Director McTavish. Director, I just wanted to say that the type of development that you're out there chasing. I'm glad to see that. You're thinking outside of the box type of development, and that's the type of development that we like. That's the type of development we'll be supporting you guys on, you know, in whatever means that we can. As you're probably aware, I brought up some concerns yesterday regarding the data center, and you know, I'm familiar with the UPM site and the fact that when the mill closed, shut down the Brighton line, which, you know, that was the that was a water source for the mill. My only concern, I'm not going to hold up this motion tonight because I'm sure that we'll all be mindful of the consequences of jumping into anything, is water. So data centers typically provide, you know, a good number of jobs during the construction, and then they slim down to basic staff, and so they really don't provide a whole lot of jobs. And my only concern is locking ourselves into a water contract that we may not be able to fulfill, or may jeopardize other services within the city, or jeopardize maybe other industries from coming in, or plants, or whatever it might be, that may turn their nose up because there's lack of water availability, or it's all locked up. So I'll support the motion, but I just wanted everybody to be mindful of the consequences of making a bad decision on. Thank you, and thank you, Director McTavish.
Okay, so seeing none on this, so just for everyone's awareness, including our own and our any of the public that will be watching, so this is very much the very beginning stages for us, right? To start that conversation, there will be public engagement as well because of the rezoning. We will have a public presentation, public hearing, all of that good stuff. So there is a lot of opportunity for us to get as educated as we can on this, and to both your points, to making good decisions for the community, both now and long term. So just for the public out there, just so that we're very clear, this is just the very beginning stages. No decisions have been made. We are opening the door to have the conversations, to get the feedback, and to learn. And that is why I'm glad to see it tonight, and for us to move from here. So do we require a motion to move it to the next stage? Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Whalen. All those in favor? Oh, wait, no. I'm getting quicker. All those in favor signify by pressing your blue button. Those opposed, your red. So that motion was carried unanimously, 8-0, to move it to the next stage, which will be the first reading for the bylaw. So thank you to Director McTavish and to CAO Sargent for the information. Moving on to the next.
All right, so there you have it, folks. So Jeff McTavish, Director of Economic Development in Miramichi. So he proposed to zone one of the heavy industrial area. One of them is at the old UPM site, and the other one is in Chatham at the old water treatment facility. Good topics was brought up. A lot of concerned councillors. One guy was concerned about the water. We got to make sure we got to watch out for that. Another one brought up electricity. He's definitely going to use a lot of electricity. Lisa Harris, I couldn't agree with her anymore. It's a touchy subject. We got to be careful what we do here. And also the vote went through 8-0. They're going to have another discussion on August 4th with the community. So if you have any concerns or anything, definitely bring them up. If you have concerns, send a letter into the mayor, to your councillors, to see what they have to say. But as for now, this is just talks right now. There's nothing set in stone. It's just a proposal to change the zoning and possibly bring a database here or a storage facility, a battery storage facility. I like how Jeff McTavish is thinking, trying to bring new business in. But data center, I don't know. I got mixed emotions for that. And hopefully they make the right decision. So if you have any concerns, get the word out. But the way they're doing it right now, the city councils and the mayor, they're doing it very safely. I like that. And they're going to listen to the public and what they have to say. And they definitely have been listening lately. Well, they had no choice because everybody's been calling them and sending them petitions and stuff. But as far as harassment and people being very abusive to them, there's no need of that. So if you're doing it, keep your thoughts to yourself, keep it clean. We are all adults here. But as far as the data center, we'll see what happens. We'll wait until the 4th. So for now, keep it cool, keep it on the down low. Just get your thoughts out there. And but yeah, thank you for coming in. If you like this video, hit that like, hit the subscribe, leave a comment below. Tell me how you feel about this data center below. Keep it clean. If you're not, I'm going to delete it. Like I said, we're all adults here. And at the end of the day, we all have to get along, even if we don't agree with each other. That's what a democracy is in Canada. You're allowed to debate and get along. Even if you don't like the other party, that doesn't matter. You still have to get along. But thank you all for coming in here with Excursions with Pat. I hope you liked the video. And until next time, take care.